Top TV, Truth of the People.
Hello there, you're just in time for Fact Check live here on Top TV. My name is Abel Omasete. Today's discussion is based on three things. Number one, the youth. Number two, the youth. And number three, the youth. Are the youth engaged in national decision-making process? Are their considerations taken into account? And also, why are millions of youth unemployed? Is it our education system, right from internship to lack of jobs? What is it? Let me know. This is a Fact Check, and with me in studio is Anthony MASSU, who is a young and hopeful parliamentarian. I believe it's NYAMISA constituency. And also on my immediate right is NYAMISA, who is an active citizen and also a student leader in KENYATTA University. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our show once again. And also you, dear viewer, you can engage us on Twitter at Top TV. Always use the hashtag FactCheck, and also contact me at Abel Omasete, and I'll be sampling your views as the show goes on. Right away, I would love to start with you, Anna. What is the place of the youth in leadership, and is there an open space for the youth to participate in national decision-making process?
Yeah, thank you. As I said, I'm Anna NYAMISA student in KENYATTA University, student leader. So as I can say, yeah, in our country right now, the youth have a place in politics. The youth have a place in government, because we've clearly seen that there are some youths who are actively involved in politics. Some already even have seats in politics. Last time we had our youngest member of parliament. We had MCAs even at the age of 21. And I can say, yeah, it is true. Youths have been involved in active politics. And it's a move they've made it from themselves.
Anthony MASSU, are you of the same opinion like Anna, that youths have been largely involved in government decision-making process and also in various initiatives and projects?
You know, decision-making is the most important thing, but before I come to that, let me introduce myself first again. Anthony MASSU, the Secretary General of Vijana Economic Front, a member of Bunge la Mwananchi, Jivanji chapter, and also an aspirant in NYAMISA Parliamentary Contest 2022. So, the position of the youth is carved out already for us. We already have a slate into which we must fit. We have a script which we must sing. We have a way in which we must behave. We have seats that we must go into. And that is the narrative that we are trying to change. We are not in the chambers of decision making. We do not decide the separation of powers in the government. We do not have a clear voice on how the country is run, yet each and every decision affects us directly. Through a decision from the government, it affects the price of the bread. While Uhuru says bread is 400 in 2017 when he was campaigning, you know that bread was 50 bob, and when he increased the price, he believes that you cannot complain, or you can actually afford that 5 shillings to add to your unga or your bread or whatever it is you're buying. But this is not the reality. So right now we are in an agitation. The youth have always transformed nations. When Fidel Castro ran away from Havana, Cuba, into the Sierra Maestra mountains and decided to start a revolution with his band of close to 60 young boys, okay? No one thought about his age. People, when they started listening to his messaging, no one thought that this is someone fresh out of university, out of campus, and is already running to transform the nation. And they succeeded. It just, when that university student in Tunisia torched himself, burnt himself to death in the streets, and began the revolution that culminated into the Arab Spring, no one thought about it as a youth. And they transformed the political settings of these nations radically. So the top dogs know the power of the youth, and they have tried to contain us through scripts, the way we must behave, and limiting us significantly.
Now, Anna, you say that the government has largely considered the youth, and when we take a look at the appointments done by government, we see that the senior citizens are being appointed to certain ministries, government agencies. Like, I can give an example of Modi Awori, former Vice President Francis Mudawada. What do you make of that? Are really the youth being considered for such positions?
You know, someone asked this, why was he chosen and he's old instead a youth could take place? Yeah. But at the same time, you know, when we're looking at this is a bigger field, and then it needs somebody who's more experienced. The way he had been working is somebody who's worked, like, let's say, for a period of 20 to 30 years. He got this experience, he got skills on how to run something. Yeah. It's unlike me, who was just done from my first degree, I've not worked, and then I expect to be given that position.
In short, you're saying you support the government's move of appointing senior citizens?
They are appointed because they have that experience. And of course, we need good delivery of services. Okay. These people are going to deliver good services compared to these youth. Okay, whatever the government could have taken into place is maybe creating forums whereby these youths can be nurtured and mentored into being whatever they needed. Because at long last, these people are going to get out of the government, and then we, the youth, during our time, is when we'll be in those positions.
Let me come to you, MASSU. I can give you my own example. I went and applied for a certain job in a certain company. I won't mention the name. And I was told, you're good enough, but you don't have that experience. So where do we draw the line between experience and qualification?
I want to differ sharply with ANNAH. I want to pose the question to any citizen who is listening right now. What did Mudi Awori do in this country that you can remember him for in his long years of experience and service? What did Francis Mutaura do in his long years of service?
Say that,
these are people who have just been simply existing in government. There's nothing significant they've been doing to Kenyans. If you are called to a forum and given a microphone to say 5 things that Mutaura has done, nothing. Simply existing in government.
President Uhuru Kenyatta recently, when he appointed those 2 individuals, he said that these are older citizens and they can better take care of
vast experience,
as opposed to the youth who can, quote unquote, maybe steal. I don't know.
No, wait. Sure. Who is stealing in Kenya if it's not Uhuru Kenyatta? Who is leading the grand theft? I'm only comparing Uhuru's
opinion. It's not
an opinion.
It's an opinion.
Jamie Bora Bank, that is affiliated to his family, was given a grant of 27 billion shillings. Okay, isn't that not daylight theft?
Okay, we can
only compare Uhuru's looting spree to that of Sani Abacha of Nigeria.
No
one else.
We have no evidence about that, so it's your own opinion.
Do you know the source of that 27 billion?
No, it's from the government coffers. It's a bailout, a cushion for COVID-19. You've been in Kenya, I've been in Kenya. You know that 27 billion is never going back to the government.
Leave alone the 27 million. Let us talk about the youth here. Where do we draw the line between experience and qualification?
So I was coming to that before you guys interjected.
Yes.
So if you look at these old individuals, you know that they have been simply existing. And the president is just fearful of testing something fresh, something new. Okay? We don't want to be part of illegal processes. Yes, there were CAS positions created and then some youths were inserted there. Okay? Those positions, first of all, they are very illegal. We want legal positions. I've been speaking to one of the CASs, Mr. David Osiani. And Osiani says, let these guys not lie to you. These positions are empty. They're empty briefcases. You only come to the office, you are given a vehicle, you sit here the whole day, you do nothing, you do some photo ops so that you are seen. But when it comes to decision making, you can't be listened to. Okay? So we want the actual meat, not the bones. When Uhuru and Ruto were campaigning for the first time, they campaigned on a youthful platform. They claimed that they were bringing fresh blood. They claimed that their opponent, Raila Odinga, was too old to rule the country or to lead the country properly. Where did this change? There is no line between youth and experience. Okay? People learn on the job.
Define a youth.
A youth is anyone between 18 to 35. That's
35. So for you, age defines who a youth is?
Yes, age defines who a youth is.
Okay.
Now, Anna, let me come to you.
Yeah.
You stated clearly that you supported President Uhuru's move of appointing Vice President former, that is Mudi Awori. Where do we draw the line? As in, the president says older citizens, or rather senior citizens, they can keep those funds safe in their hands, as opposed to the youth. What do you think of that?
I think that happens because, personally I'm a comrade, you see, and once I get into a job, after I need this money to develop myself first interest, right? Because I need to maybe cater for everything that I have been wanting. I need to have those big cars. So I'll be looting money towards my side or towards my family. I want, you know, these people who are already in government and maybe they are given another job, it's because, you know, they've already exploited everything. They already have these cars. They already have the money in their banks. So they all need to deliver services. For me, as much as I'll be delivering services, my main aim will be to gain more than I do deliver the services. Yes.
MASSU, it is estimated that about 56% of those civil workers who work in government are over 50 years. Now, do you think that it is now time that we should consider age limit when it comes to appointment to various parastatals and also government agencies?
No, it will be segregative. We will not want to do that. But just on a statistic, 56% over 50, and then the president claimed that 2 billion is lost daily. Do you draw some, relationship? Do you notice something? When the president claims that 2 billion is stolen daily from the government, who is stealing this money? Is it some youth? Do you need us to fund you more on the investigation agency so that you give us their names? What do you need us to do so that we get these people? These are his friends. These are the mudawaras and the worries. There are no youth there stealing those money. Which youth? Point out one.
No.
There's only one reason why he cannot mention the names. Because there is peers. He is with them. They're in a league. Okay? So that's why I'll never buy the notion of youth appointment corruption. No. It's about the person. It's about ideology. It's about the culture that's prevailing. So if you want to scare youths from power by telling people he will steal, he will try to enrich himself, he will try to blah blah blah. Come on. Oh.
I want us to change to shift gears a little bit and talk about Kazim Mtaani initiative. What do you make of that initiative? Keeping in mind there are those youth who believe they have graduated, they've done medicine, journalism, name them, but they are not of the opinion that they want to work in Kazim Mtaani initiative. What do you think of that?
First to say, the issue about having graduated from School of Medicine, I've done law, I believe nowadays the current education system, it is more of giving us skills on how to handle life. Yes. You know, there is a student who goes to school and all he does is just to stay in class. Maybe he's in the classes, books, in the library, in church. He doesn't know his social life. He doesn't know how to talk to people, how to approach people, and how to relate with people. You know, obviously, in life it comes that your friends will lead you to opportunities, right? So when you say about a student who's finished campus, has graduated with a master's, let's say a degree in medicine, and then is still looking for a job, then it means that his social life just rotated just within himself. He didn't expound much to the outside, to know people who can help him. You know, people start with small jobs. My brother finished as a nurse, and then he started as like in a small clinic as you progress. So for them, they just want to find themselves popping into one, like, I want to be a doctor because I did neurosurgeon, I want to be a neurosurgeon, without aiming like I should start from a level.
I get your point. Yeah. Now, MASSU, some students who have finished just their studies in campus, they are not of the opinion that they should work in Kazim Mtaani initiative. Bring us to a bigger question. Is our education system the problem, or is it our decisions of the youth?
First of all, I want to hope Kazim Mtaani project was simply a COVID-19 cushioning tactic to help people who are suffering from the effects of the pandemic. Although the president would have better options, which he does not want to explore for reasons best known to him. But I'm not an expert on the education sector because we have had exemplary citizens in this country who have passed through the former system, okay? And they have achieved a lot, they have created a lot, they have invented, they have done basically anything. The education that is provided in Kenya, the 844 system, I don't think it's the worst. It has been one of the best. It's actually one of the best systems.
When you say it's one of the best systems, look at this in this perspective. You finish campus, getting an internship is very difficult.
Exactly. So when you reach at that point, you realize that the education is not the problem. Education is the country itself, the economic system of the country. Economic slumps in countries usually happen when the government cannot sustain employment, the companies cannot employ and absorb people, the turnovers are very low, their tax remissions are very low, the economy is literally struggling. When it reaches that point, you cannot blame our education system. There is nothing wrong that you're taught in school. Even if you want to make friends, yes, you're my friend, but there's no job in your company. What will you do? Because I created a connection. No, the problem is our economic system, our governance. The choice of investment for our loans is worrying. Okay, the president should be more focused on inputting those monies into sectors that are expanding, building on ideas that can provide employment to more people. Let us absorb our youths into the economy. Once we kickstart, we jumpstart these sectors, and we push people to get employed there, they will naturally expand. That's how it works with the economists.
All right, that is Anthony MASSU calling it the way as he sees it. But what's the meaning of PDG? You call yourself PDG?
Yeah, President General. That's it's like a term to say it.
Say that again.
President General. President General.
Yeah, you had it. PDJ. Remember, you can weigh in by sending in your tweets at Abel Omasede at Top TV. The hashtag is always fact check. Now, Anna.
I mean, it's please, I was to object on whatever you said about the choice on how loans are being invested. Just the other day, we had an industry for making guns. It was around Thika.
In Ruaka. Yeah.
In Ruaka.
Yes.
Yes. So, what can you say about that? Because I'm sure that it's something that has never existed before. It is a new industry. And then now people can get employment, and it was all was behind it.
That supports my idea of wrongful investment of public money. For a start, we don't produce the raw materials that are needed for gun making, which means we are going to import them, which means we are going still to send our money out of the country.
It should have
loans that we already had.
It should have helped now.
Okay.
Sustainability is a concern here, because when you invest in an industry, you are looking for sustainability. Do we produce grain products, the maize products, like in America or Mexico? They produce grain, and then they use this grain to produce other things that are sold and exported to other areas. Do we have a company for that? We don't.
Allow me to
guns. How many people are going to buy guns in Kenya? We don't even have a law that allows certain people to have guns.
Yeah.
You have to pay a gun license of 1 million. How many? If less than 3% of Kenyans have over 100,000 in their bank account as we speak, no one is going to buy a gun.
Okay, those are good points you're raising, but I don't want us to change the topic. You're talking about the youth. We'll have some time. We'll call you some other time. We discuss on that issue. But I want us to measure our decision, our discussion on youth and the leadership. Now, we have some quite young parliamentarians. Yes. Talk of Babu Wino, Zagwa, John Paul Murigi, who was elected when he was only 23 years old. Anna, according to your perspective, do you think those young parliamentarians have performed extremely well, that the public can now say they are confident in the youth leadership?
It's not even a matter of performing extremely well, but these guys have played as role models to the upcoming young politicians, most of students. You know, Baba Wino being a student leader, at least he got that contact with most students, with comrades, with youths. So it's one way of trying to bring the youth into politics, into the government, because he got a link to that. So they're playing a good role in ensuring that youths remain in politics. Yes.
Masu, I know you are over 23 years, but not above 30 years.
I'm actually 23.
23. Okay. You want to be an MP for Langata constituency. What is this transformative bill that you'll introduce in Parliament once elected that will help or rather benefit the youth?
Thank you. First of all, I want to react to your observation that what have the elected leaders done so far. Have you ever taken tea with just a small pint of milk? And then once you have that experience, so do you go out and sing in the rooftops that the milk is such a nice thing that it should be included in every cup of tea? Not really. The problem we have at the moment is the numbers are little, and politically speaking, because I've known how politics operates, those numbers are almost insignificant. That is why we already drafted a motion to ensure that there are youth quotas created in the chambers of decision making with a certain percentage. So Parliament, you see the way there are quotas for women, they buy women rep, and they're only voted as women. We want quotas
for youth
similar for youth, okay? In all chambers of decision making, not only in Parliament, not only in Senate, everywhere, so that we build that composition.
But the government says
I
there is
believe
no money.
No, there is money in the
There
government.
is money.
27 billion ya kupeleka jamii bora inatoka wapi? There's a lot of money in the government. 2 billion being stolen daily. And our investigation departments don't even know the people.
So the government has a lot of money.
There's a lot of money in the government.
Go ahead.
We are processing another loan of close to 700 billion very soon. So there's a lot of money in the government. So what I'm saying is, we have realized that governance has had a significant impact on the livelihood of youths. So I don't want to pinpoint one particular bill, but I want to amalgamate all the concerns of the youth and the bills that will always be presented in Parliament for discussion and contemplation are those that target the basics of life for a youth.
Let me get this right.
Can you access clean water as a resident of wherever you live? Can you access food at any given point in time? Do you have electricity that you can use to do whatever you want to do? The basics of life.
Let me get you right. Are you saying that the youths cannot deliver in once elected as a parliamentarian unless they are large in numbers? Are you saying that?
I'm saying that exactly. There's this thing about parliamentary debates and numbers. That is why you see the haggle and the tuffle and shuggle between the top dogs every day as they try to whip. That's why there are whips in the parliament. The whips, that is their function, to make sure that someone votes in this direction. Like I use the example of milk. When you just have a small pint of milk in water and then you take, it will not be such a nice concoction, okay? But if you have a sizable amount of it, then now you can actually argue for milk and say, we actually should do more of this because it's very interesting, it's very sweet, it is working for us. So the number of parliamentarians, youths, it's very low. It's very easy to be whipped and controlled. But if you have 50 members of parliament who are below 40 or below 35, my friend.
Is that the work of the government, or is
it's not the work of the government?
To
no, actually, that's a call-up. That's a call-up to Wananchi. Okay, that's not a challenge that is being thrown at the government. It is our challenge as our own. When you're going to vote next day, when I first pitched my platform in Langata, okay, I stated it clearly that if you want money, from me as a candidate in this election, then please go to the incumbent who has been combing the county, the constituency CDF, Kitty. He will give you that money. If you want more money, go and look for the likes of Uhuru KENYATTA, who have been stealing from the government daily.
That is your opinion.
If you want
opinion of Top TV, that's your opinion.
If you want money, please go to those big wigs who have been in positions of privilege and have manufactured money.
Hold on,
but if you want leadership, please go for leadership.
Okay, that is Anthony MASSU calling it the way as he sees it. We are due for a short break, but remember, you can weigh in by sending in your tweets at Abin Omasai at Top TV. The hashtag is always fact check. See you on the other side of the break.
Top TV, truth of the people.
Alright, welcome back. The show on air is definitely Fact Check live here on Top TV. With me in studio is NYAMISA. She's an active citizen as well as a student leader in KENYATTA University, as well as Anthony MASSU, famously known as PDJ. Is it right, PDJ or PDJ?
PDJ.
The meaning?
Yeah.
The meaning?
President General.
Yeah, that one. I'm with him in studio. And also, he's a hopeful parliamentarian, I believe, in Langata constituency. Now, Anna, when the youth vie for these elected positions, one can say that there are those, can I call them big fish, who have a lot of money, and the youth who are, let's say, it's their first time like MASSU here. How do we draw the line between we want to vote for this youth because he has an agenda, he has an ideology, unlike those others who are shipping in a lot of money so as to win the votes from their constituents. What do you think about that?
You know, at the end, during that election dates, the people are going to vote. And the people already know. They have seen a potential in this person. But you know, we youths, as much as we're getting into politics, we still don't have that enough full support from the outside people. Because they still see some inferiority complex in us, in that we can't handle some tasks, right? Money is just a tool to gain some votes, but it won't make you get that political figure, that public figure. You know, people, the way people can first see you and then wanna say you're a leader, and then people can see me and then they're like, it's just your money that is buying our votes, right? That's a challenge when it comes to like youths are having issues. You know, people need money to vote, and then there are those loyal people who necessarily need not that money to go and vote for that youth. The first thing is that these people have not accepted that youths are into politics. They're still rooted into these old people. We'll keep on luring them with money, forgetting that as much as the youths don't have that money to give them, they still have these leadership qualities.
Yeah, I get your point.
So the public is not playing that good role in ensuring that youths are getting into that.
Now, MASSU, you are racing against quote-unquote political heavyweights, who indeed, of course, the public, they have a lot of money, and they'll be using, if not less than $1 million, maybe $1 million or more, to finance their campaigns. Now, you as a young youth, maybe, I don't know if you have a lot of money like them or you don't, you tell us that. How are you going to work against those people who have, let's say, they influence the voters' decision courtesy of cash?
Let me propose a solution first of all. In all developed countries who are serious about politics working for them, there's what we call political parties campaign regulations. In here, they regulate the funds that any particular candidate can spend on a campaign.
But that is official. We are talking about on the ground.
No, just wait. That's now. I'm talking about a solution first. I'm a solution-oriented man always.
Go ahead.
So, like in the presidential campaigns of the US, for a presidential campaign, no one can donate more than $200,000 for a campaign. So it's always informed donations. So whether you are as rich as whoever you want to be, okay, you better have many people donating to you. And even after the donations, there's a limit for the campaign spending. You cannot just spend how you want, okay? So that we make leadership fair and make it like the first Roman idea of a government, okay, based on the thinking that every man, or in this case now we include woman, must have a fair share of opinion making in the government. So to ensure that there must be checks and balances on the spending on campaigns, okay, moving into the future. In this context, I had said it before, and I'll repeat it. If people think that politics is money, then they are going to get a lesson in politics in Langata.
Say that again.
If people think that politics is about money, they are going to get a lesson in politics in Langata.
Now, Anna, let me come to you. Well, let's say the young parliamentarians, the likes of Babu Wino, Jaguar, they have been elected to represent their constituencies. Now, where do you differentiate that this young leader, he has an informative agenda, he has an ideology, but he has to draw the party line? Where, let's say, a party like ODM or Jubilee, they have a common stand on certain issues, and so that young parliamentarian is forced to work with what the party says. How can you go about it as a young parliamentarian?
I witnessed this through the last by-elections, whereby people nowadays, they're not even centrally based on by voting for someone because of this party or because he chose this party. As because ANNAH belongs to Jubilee, I'll vote for ANNAH, right? Or because he belongs to maybe ODM, I'll vote for ODM. People have learned to know that the fact that a party, as much as yes, it plays a, you know, a party in elections maybe will play a role in ensuring that they having the necessary funds to run a campaign and such. But as an individual, these people really, they need not to mainly focus on what, you know, the party will require much from them. Because you know they want to be loyal to their party, and the party requires much from them. And then in that the party is requiring much from them, they have to limit themselves into some stuffs that will now we as the public will see it as not a good strategy, right?
MASSU, how do you go about this issue that you are against the party's position? I can give an example of Morgan, former majority leader in the Senate, General, and etc., etc. They were ousted from their positions. Also, those others are in the committees because of going against the party's decision. What do you make of that?
Does it stop them from being MPs? Does it stop them from debating serious issues for Kenyans in Parliament?
But who will support your bill if you're going against the party?
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring this. Every significant politician you know, especially in our setup, because we came from a parliamentary system just recently, you realize that there were serious parliamentarians. William Ruto was one of the best debaters in Parliament when he was an MP. Equally, he was Raila, Orengo, and you can mention a lot of them. What it says is this: the party position has existed in politics everywhere. We're not going to kill it anytime soon. I don't demonize it, because we are creating a political party for the youth, Vijana Economic Front. And we will not want a situation where we know our ideology, we want it to work for the people, and then as an individual who was voted on this party wants to propagate a different ideology, we will whip you immediately, okay? Because that's how party system works everywhere across the world. It does never change, it will never change.
No, but
so it's always about the particular leader. Advocacy for what is right can happen whether or not you are dealing with the party position. Party positions, you realize, they always come on very vital elements, very small tidbits of things like, you know, what can I say? Separation of powers, some politics, some political games and cards.
What's happened to Isaac Moro?
in the interior. He was a nominated senator. He was. Wait. You have to look at the circumstances. Was he advocating for anything for Kenya? No, he was advocating William Ruto. So, if I'm a party whip, I whip immediately it's out of order. Yes.
And once again, I don't want us to go into much into deeper politics. So you're talking about the youth, and you're focusing on the youth. And also, please continue sending your tweets at Abel Omasede at Top TV. Hashtag is always a fact check. Now, MASSU, I believe, is the Secretary General for Vijana Economic Front.
Yes.
And how many members have you registered so far, and how many seats will you be contesting in 2022?
Okay, Vijana Economic Front was launched in 2019, early 2019, after our first ground meeting in 2018. And since then, we have registered over 10,000 members.
10,000.
Yes. And we have aspirants who will be vying. So right now, we are fast-tracking the registration process. So we complete and have the papers for the party. At that point, our target is to field 500 MCA candidates across the country. 500? Yes. Yes. And 20 MP candidates.
Now, as a party, VEF, I believe it's correct, VEF, what makes you stand out from other parties like the likes of ODM, Jubilee, KANU? What makes you stand out?
I think it's always about the leadership. Let me just use ODM, for example, Orange Democratic Movement. There's a time I was reading manifestos of different parties from different parts of the world. It's crazy. ODM actually has one of the best manifestos you'll ever find in a political party anywhere. But sadly, as a political party, the only way you can always implement your things is by capturing power. If you don't capture power, you can't implement any of your ideologies. So Vijana Economic Front is youth-geared, youth-engineered. I've had meetings with people who claim, is in this segregative? I'm an old man. I'm interested in this ideology you're selling. How do I get in? I tell him, if you want to get in, you have ODM, you have Jubilee, you have Ford Kenya and the rest. Vijana Economic Front is for the youth. Okay? The basic challenges that a normal mzee does not understand, that only you can relate to. Okay? You finish school, you don't have a job. Okay? Because the economy, and spare my language, is fucked up. So these are the issues that we are addressing directly, and we are charging to the point, okay? That is what is different about Vijana Economic Front. So we are talking about the basics of life. I talk about, like I said before, I talk about water, I talk about access to food, a proper, decent job. You don't go to campus for 4 years and you school to get an A back in high school, to be sweeping streets and emptying drains.
It is better off than having nothing to do within the meantime.
Exactly. So we don't want to settle for the meantime. We don't want to settle for what is available. If you can better the conditions. So a decent job. You don't get a master's degree only to get a job that pays you 15K. That you can hardly pay rent. You can't even buy shoe polish.
Yeah, I get your point. Now, Anna, let me come to you. I believe you're also a member of Vijana Economic Front. Now, what do you tell those ladies or young girls who are aspiring to join politics, can I say with the 2022 elections, and due to lack of a better word, can I say bullied in party primaries in some other parties? Why should they join Vijana Economic Front?
Thank you. Actually, I like it when you said ladies. Kenya has become one of the countries that has ensured there is good women empowerment. Yeah, we at least we can use that privilege to utilize and get to know what is really good for us. Yeah, and that's why when talking to young ladies, they need more empowerment, of which it is already there. There is some, there are forums in which young ladies are called and then they are talked to. You're encouraged to do this and this, and then there are very, it starts maybe from school. People are given leadership positions in school, and then so when talking to young ladies, let it not be like I'm doing this just because I'm a lady, or I'm doing this because I'm a woman, or because I've been empowered.
So why VF? Why VF?
VF as like it has all people at hand, all youths at hand, both men. You've hardly said that even men, old men are coming to approach VF because they've seen some potential in it. It includes both male and female. It isn't based on gender. Like no, nowadays it's men who are ruling. Nowadays it's men or ladies are there. That's why I'm there. Yes.
Now, MASSU, as you wind up, how do we solve this unemployment issue? I believe you're an incoming MP. If all goes well, I believe you will win. Yes. What ways can we create so that you can solve this unemployment issue? It has been a year, 4 years, 3 administration, I believe 3 or 4. They have come, but the issue is still there. How do we solve this issue?
Unemployment is always a ripple effect, okay, that emanates from decision making by government.
Not really.
That is why the government is always called to order and to task when such things happen. We can borrow a leaf from countries that have had similar problems and see how they have always contained their issues. Public-private partnership is one of the methods, strategies of solving unemployment, where you get the private sector, link it up with the public sector, expand that base through government input initiative. We've seen the lives of the Asian Tigers, Malaysia, Singapore. They have done that. They have succeeded. So we can also do it and succeed.
So you're saying we should introduce private
in sector? All industries, public-private partnership is one of the strategies.
I can give an example in Mumia's sugar company.
Yes.
There was CEO wanted to pump in around, was it 5 billion?
Yes.
And there was an MP who said,
there's
no.
a lot of politics.
You have to give me 100 million so that I can...
Yes. No, that's why I say government decision making is very much involved in how employment turns out. Poor economic strategies. And what do you call poor economic strategies? If you open a business, okay, what are the chances of growth within 5 years? And does the government provide you with a conducive environment to grow? Are you overtaxed? What is the cost of electricity that you pay for that business? If it is such a place, the running water that makes it a place that people can come to, are you comfortable? Ama kanjo na kusumbua.
In short, you're saying we should work with KEPSA to deal with this unemployment thing?
So the government economic strategies are always very important in because if you have a business that can expand properly within 5 years, you can employ 100 people or 50 or even 20 people within those 5 years, right?
Yes.
But if you are in the wrong economic situations, I've talked to a lot of captains of industry, and all of them always decry government-related problems. Take the example of the situation we are in right now as a country, where the president has issued a lockdown. We were trying to achieve the 24-hour economy before 2030, and we actually thought it would work, okay? And then came the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know the relationship between COVID-19 and darkness that only Uhuru Kenyatta can see. That COVID-19 is transmitted through darkness.
So, MASSU, in short, you're saying we need a government goodwill. Exactly,
a good-willed government.
Yes, I'm getting a point. Now, Anna, let me come to you. In 10 seconds, explain to us how are we going to deal with this unemployment issue? It has been there for decades, if not almost a century.
It has been there for decades. That's why we have the CBC being introduced, so that it is more of learner-centered than teacher-centered. You know, the education system was more of we just focused on the outcome. What will the learner score? You see, and then you know CBC gets to learners, and then they get to identify their skills while young. So they grow up knowing what they want in life. Yes.
So MASSU,
and then that encourages self-improvement. I necessarily need not to depend on the government to tell me what to do. I need not to depend on the government to employ me as a clinical doctor or as a medical doctor. I've grown up knowing the skills I know I need. Thus, when I'm an adult, I'll be able to know what I need in life. That's why we have CBC.
Okay, I get a point. Now, MASSU, in 20 seconds, I want you to look at that camera and talk to that youth who feels like there's nothing for them, they have no hope, they have no jobs, nothing motivates them. Talk to them.
I think it's an overdue conversation with the youth. Every time youth are called upon to give sentiments on the state of leadership, they also want to dwell on the state of leadership in the top cadre of the government. They want to discuss William Ruto, they want to discuss Raila Odinga, they want to discuss people who have kept us in the trenches for decades. And I think this is now where the turning point arrives. Hakuna uongozi wa kesho. Kwani ni kesho? Uongozi wa vijana ni leo. So wewe kijana mahali ulipo, kama unafikiria every time you wake up in the morning and when you think politics, you think William Ruto, you think Raila Odinga, start thinking your life when you think politics. Think your rent, think your unga, think the amount of money you pay as fare when you go to town. Think the amount of time you spend on that road, in that traffic jam. Think the basic things that help you. Think about your mother in the village. Think about your father in whatever part of the city. Think about your own life. Okay. That is what leadership should be about. And that is why Vijana Economic Front is committed to transforming leadership in this country. That is why I'm vying on a platform of youth in Langata constituency, and we are going to win.
In 20 seconds, what do you tell those youth outside there who have no hope for life, they have no jobs? Talk to them.
I think when you say those youths have not had hope, they don't have any hope for life, it means they have not expanded their minds to know what they really need. They are still at their comfort zone because parents are still providing for their basic needs. Right now, me, whom maybe I don't have basic backup from home, I'll know what I need. So youths, it's a matter of time you just change how you perceive things. I was in a certain WhatsApp group we were discussing, and then it's at 2 a.m. the youths are busy discussing about a politician. I was like, you know, you're discussing about somebody who's already asleep, thinking about how he's going to get enough cash for tomorrow's day. And now you're here talking about him. So it is good to change ways in which we base our ideas in how we make our decisions. It will be much better for the youths. Yes.
MASSU, where do you find VAF on social media or rather your headquarters?
You can find us on Facebook. There is a website, Vijana Economic Front website. There we have our agenda well outlined. You can find us on Facebook and you can find us on Twitter too. You like our Facebook page. Take a moment, take a minute, read through our website. You'll find awesome content there.
And on that note, we call it a wrap live here on Fact Check. This is Top TV. In studio with me, I have been with NYAMISA. She's an active citizen as well as a student leader in KENYATTA University, as well as Anthony MASSU or PDJ. PDJ, its meaning?
PDJ.
Yeah, PDJ himself in the house is also an aspiring member of parliament for NYAMISA constituency. Now, this is the time for bold measures. This is the country and we are the generation. If we want change, we must be aggressive, we must take it as we see it and march forward. My name is Abel Omasete. This has been a Fact Check. Remember, every Tuesday, every week, we do this right here on Top TV. See you soon.